Hello everyone, welcome back once again in Linux for Hackers. Today we are going to discuss about the file permissions in Linux. So very first thing, if you have observed, if we do ls-l in any of the files, then you see these type of details. Here the directory permissions are basically these ones, tr, w, xr. Now the question arises that what basically they are and how they work. If you know them well, you can play with it, but if you don't know, it's going to be a very tough task for you that what basically they are and how you change them. So if you just focus a little bit here, the very first and important part that what the grouping is, like the basic things. So in this session, I will tell that how to change these permissions. Along with that, you might have observed that sometimes we see like permissions, you see something like that 777 or 644, what they are. So in this session, that's what we are focusing about. Okay. So just be with me for a few minutes, less than 10 minutes it could be, and then you will learn that what basically these are and how they change. So whenever we are focusing these type of things, right? So let me just zoom and focus that these grouping part. So if I do just a snip to zoom a bit here, okay. So if I zoom this one, and in the snip I have here, and if I zoom little bit, make a larger size so that you can view it properly, okay. And here there are three things. Very first thing, like brwxr and xr-x. So here the thing is like the grouping is 3 by 3, the first three groups, then another three groups, and another three groups. And the first character here shows that whether this file is a directory or it is a file. So wherever you see that as a D, it means there's a directory. And whenever that you have this dash, that's a file. Simple. So very first thing that you have to identify whether your file is a type of a directory or it is a file. So wherever you see D, you know it. Wherever you have hyphen, you know that's a file. Now next thing is that what are these groups? So very first group, which is basically the owner. So these groups represents these three characters RWX represents the owner. Okay, so whenever we see that R, it means that it has the read permission. So let me clear it. So these are the groups, and in this the first R shows this that owner can read it. So this is the owner, and the owner can read the file or basically the directory. Okay, so he has the read permissions. W means that he has the write permission. X means that he also has the execute permission. So the first three bits, or you can say the characters, they represents the owner, that what owner is having the permissions. The second group is tells about the group, because that owner will be part of some group, and whatever the permissions are, they are in the group, that group is having the same permissions whatever the users are in part of that group. So for example, there is a group like security group, and under the security group, let's suppose we are having three users. Let's suppose Anuj, Kevin, and let's take Lucy. So there are three users, and all of them will have these permissions RWX, like hyphen. So they do not have a permission to write. They have only read permission. R, they cannot write it because it is dash, and X means they have the execute permissions. Same thing is for this third one. This is for others who are not part of, who are not the owner, who are not the group, and what others will be having the permission. So this is just talking about that one. Now let's go back to our putty session here. So now you see there's things that you understand that what they are. So perfectly. Next thing is this Kali and Kali. So very first thing, this is like honor, that who is owner of that directory or it is a file. Second, Kali belongs to the group, that which group it is part of. How to change these owner and groups, I have covered this in the previous session. If you have not this one, watch that one, you can go to that one, and command is for the like change owner, okay, or change group, change group. So you can watch that how I have changed that one. So I'm not going to cover that one here. My focus in this session to change the permissions of the file. So now if I want to, let's suppose we have a file here which is named as a fresh.txt, right? So these permissions are represented like this one, rw and something. Same time they can also be presented in terms of numbers. So this is like r, w and x. So r is represented as a 4, w is represented as 2, and x is represented as 1. So if a user is having the, let's suppose r hyphen x. So how will we write this one? R means 4 and x is 1. So 4 plus 1 is equals to 5. So we will write that like a as a 5. Okay. So for example, let's try to represent this thing, that how it could be written like this one. So this is r w. The very first thing we will leave like this one. Very first, like this r w and hyphen. So r is 4 and w is 2. So we will see 6. Okay. Next one, r hyphen hyphen. So we will just see 4, remaining will be 0. Wherever there is a hyphen or dash, the will be 0. So this will be 4. And then again we have this r hyphen hyphen. So it means that 4. So my actual permission is 644 for this group. Clear? Same thing, like let's try to present this one, that how it can be written here. Let me change the color. So if I change it here, let's suppose the second one, okay, this one, this is the blue. So D will leave like this. The very first thing is RWX. So RWX means we have everything added, any 4 plus 2 plus 1, 4, 2, 6, 7. Next group is this RX. RX is 4 plus 1, 5. And again we have Rx means 4 plus 1. That is 5. So now it has the permission as 755. Clear? So now that's how like you can present these values, this rwx, because they are little complex that you can't remember that what they are basically, rwx or wxr. So now we present these directory permissions as like 755, 644. So highest permission we are having, that is 777. You might have heard that one. So in that case, like you have this rwx, rwx and rwx for all. Like for the owner you have 7, group you have 7, and others also you have the 7. So if have any file is having 777, it means that everybody is having that permission. All right. So let me try to show you that how basically we can change the permissions. So for example, we have a file named as a fresh.txt, which was having a permission of 644, right? We just saw it like 644. Now let's try to make it like 755, which will be similar to others. Okay. So if I try to do that, let's see. So now how we will do it? We will just do sudo and change permission. Let me have a look. Not this one. We have to do sudo chmod, and then we will give the what permission you want to give it. So let's suppose we give it like 644. I forget it what it was, the same or something else. But I think it was 755. So if I do 755, then it will be then the file name. So file name is fresh.txt. So it means that I'm changing the permissions for this fresh.txt. Let's do it. Let's see what is happening. So it's asking me the password. I will enter the password and let's see what's happening now. What's the permission? So now you see that the permissions are similar to this one, right? Because I made the same permission. Now, if I want to make these permissions like everything as 7, it means that everybody will be having RWX, RWX, RWX. So if I do the same thing, but this time I'm going to do as 777, highest permissions. That's not recommended, but still, I just want to show you that how you can change it, how you can run that same. Now you see that everything is just RWX, RWX, RWX. But this is not the recommended way. Other way, let's suppose you want to give everybody to like a read permission. Okay, so if you want to give everybody to read permissions, then you can give it like 444. So let's do that. And now honor will be having the read permission. Group will be having this read permission as well as the others will also have the same permission. So if I show you now, you see that everybody is having the read permissions. So that's how like we can read and we can change the permission according to our requirement. So let me stop here. If you have any question in this, feel free to write in the comment section. I will get back to you as soon as possible. Meanwhile, if you want to access this content on my website, you can go to this freshdeveloper.online. This is my website. And here under self-learning, you will see there's a course of cybersecurity and there is a content like Linux for hackers. If you go this Linux for hackers, you can see the content, whatever I have recorded till now. So this is the next session. It will be coming in this list. Alright guys, see you soon in the next session. Till that, bye-bye.